Hey everybody, Tag Life Done Free. Hey, I had an interesting thing happen to me. I had a young lady reach out to me, kind of in tears about what's going on, to her family's legacy. So they owned a piece of property for the last 170 years and have seen everything, from the original settlers to the Civil War, and all the way up through World War One and World War Two, and they served, the entire time. And now the property is going to be sold off. And so she asked me if there was any way I could help get it in the hands of someone like-minded. This property is not in my, direct community, although not too far away. But it touched me that she was trying to do that, and so I told her that I would put a video out and asked her to send me some pictures and send me a little bit of a story. So I'm going to read you guys her story and share some pictures of the legacy of her family. So anyway, if you're interested, come on, let's check it out. All right, everybody. So here's the property. The address is 2980 Pleasant Hill in Seymour, Missouri. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the thoughts that, this young lady sent to me. And I thought you'd find it interesting. I find it interesting. So the property was originally homesteaded by her great-great-grandfather, Jackson Slack, in about 1857. And he came with a brother-in-law. His name was Van Fleet from Ohio. They were actually the first to Springfield, Missouri. And they are the first listed as making and selling grain fans. At some point, he acquired the property near Seymour and cut timber for a logging mill that he owned. During the Civil War, he provided corn and wheat and hay for the troops, as well as joining the Union, and is recorded with various troop movements. They worked hard and saved to increase their share of land, eventually owning over 1,000 acres. During World War I and World War II, they were able to provide sorghum, honey, and sugarcane, leaving behind numerous sugarcane ration stamps that were never used. Mules were raised and sold to the Army, which was a tradition that her grandpa continued in his early years. His mules were a source of pride. The family raised large gardens, mostly potatoes, tomatoes, green beans, corn, and strawberries. Fruit trees were apple and pears. Wild foods were blackberries, persimmons, gooseberries, raspberries, dewberries, huckleberries, pawpaws, and wild plum. Black walnuts, hazelnuts, at one time pecan trees, but apparently a tornado took out the last one. Let me see, watercress, lamb's quarter, poke, dock, and wild lettuce. They had chickens and turkey and geese, pigs and cattle, both dairy and beef. The river provided them fish. The crops were largely field, dent corn, and hay until about 1980. And at that time, there has been essentially no farming since then, and the property has been leased for beef cattle. The river that runs through it is the Upper James River, which feeds into the White River watershed. So her grandfather had a son, and his name was Evan Slack, and he joined the Marines during the Korean War and then received a degree in agriculture from the University of Missouri. He worked part-time in radio, and he eventually found his niche as a farm broadcaster. This led to a lifetime career, and he was fond of telling his listeners about his roots on his family's homestead. So this property is listed in Webster County, Missouri, roughly 40 miles east of Springfield, Missouri, and about 30 miles west of the Creek Heirloom Seed Company in Mansfield, Missouri. This is also remember Laura Ingalls Wilder from Little House on the Prairie. This is her birthplace. There's also a museum there. The GPS aerial map shows the property under the name of Batston Barsha, which is this young lady's mother. The parcel list, it has 6 parcels, but they're going to sell it as one, as presented to the realtor. She goes on to say that she's sad to see the property sold, but have resigned herself to the fact that she cannot stop it. She said that she had hoped one day she'd be able to build there, but until the passing of her uncle, she had no rights or claims to anything. It is likely time to let it go. I personally do not, this is her speaking, I personally do not have any children to pass it to. So even if I manage to hold on, The need to decide where it goes or who it goes to is an issue that is not far in the future. My family never seemed motivated to pass it on to any of their children, and so we have all watched as the farm slowly dissolved, literally ashes to ashes. Now the battle is with cousins living far away that never really had any vested interest in the property and are bitter with my mom because of their dad's portion was never negotiated before his death. Largely, this is just what happens when families stick to the old ways of dealing with property and fail to plan for the future. Missouri, however, has adopted legislation to help save the family farm, but as none of us were actually living on the property, we are limited in its application. My issue now is that I fear it'll be sold, allowing a buyer with deep pockets to snatch it up and then parcel it out in lots or to the Amish for double what they paid. I am not opposed to the Amish owning it, but uncertain if they'll be able to purchase the entirety of the property, which is a setup for a repeat of what happened in the first parcel of over 300 acres was sold. The buyer paid $2,500 an acre and reportedly sold the timber area to the Amish for $5,100. I suspect my mother was hoping to be able to buy back that land at a later date, but she is now in the early stages of dementia and her health is not good. Buying it back will never be a possibility. Large tracts of land for farming are rare now, and Missouri is rapidly losing the vast amounts of farmland. As a state, we no longer produce enough food to feed our growing population. My interest at this point is just trying to honor my ancestors' legacy by seeing that the property is sold for the best possible price and not watching it being thrown away. I hope I've not ranted too much. Any help you can offer is so greatly appreciated. May God bless you and be in all of your endeavors. Sincerely, Sherry. So I didn't mention this earlier, but this property is not listed yet, although it's going to. It may actually just go to auction. So this young lady told me that she would keep me posted on what's going on. And if any of you are interested, and I pray that you are, you can reach out to me directly, tag NB, so tag the letter NB at lifedonefree.com, and I'll be happy to pass on the contact information, or if you have additional questions or, anything like that. There's no skin in the game for me other than just helping, another like-minded person and helping that community down there build. And it's a great place to live. I mean, I know that area really, really well. It's full of trees and, lots of water, and, it's down in the, Lake of the Ozarks. And so, I hope you enjoyed it. And I enjoyed a little bit of the history lesson. And I guess let's just all pray that, that the wishes of this, 170 plus year farm and homestead, passes on to someone who will love it as much as the Slack family did. So I guess till we do it again, tag out.